The stalemate continues at the end of Game 4 at the FIDE World Chess Championship 2024 in Singapore. After Game 3, it was all Gukesh, 1.5 points each. After Game 4, it was a 42-move match and it's tied again. It's a draw game and it's 2 points each. After Game 3, I must tell you though that when Gukesh was all set to go out and celebrate, he was called out of his van for an anti-doping test. That's something new for me. I didn't know that existed in chess. They usually do a urine test to sort of check for performance enhancement drugs, especially that can help you get better focus. And well, the tests happened for both players, and luckily all's good, but it was something new. In Game 4, what was interesting is the surprising first move from Liren. He was playing with white, and what's interesting is every time he's played with white, it's ended in a draw. And what's also interesting is that players are not repeating their opening moves. In this case, there was a Zakatot opening where Liren moved the knight to f3. That was very interesting. And then on move 5, he had his bishop to a3. These are very interesting moves. It sort of shook Gukesh in the initial stages, but by points 11 and 13, moves 11 and 13, he sort of found a way to counter-attack and get back to the balance of the game. But what's interesting is the players are not repeating their moves. That's something, an interesting observation. Also, chess, like I said, it's played on the board, in the minds, as per the clock, but also what happens outside of the board. What was interesting to see was the support that players had. Liren, in this case, had Grandmaster Nehua, older gentleman, in the Chinese contingent, and you had the Hungarian Grandmaster Richard Rappo. If you've probably followed chess, you've seen him come out with colored clothing and those wild t-shirts, and he's always been in the Liren camp, and it was good to see him come out there. And Liren said, look, I love having these folks here because they tell me stories, they give me interesting move ideas, and sometimes just to take your mind off. So it's amazing how even in chess, it's so much of a mind game, so it helps to have the right kind of company, right support, as well as the right kind of mindset. In this case, even food and drinks, he said he utilized Thursday very well, when it was a rest day. He had some good time off, good food and drinks, and that helped him sort of, gain his composure. And I think what we got to keep watching in Game 5, Game 6, and the remaining games is the interesting first moves. Are they going to keep surprising each other? Because that plays with your mind. Also, an interesting observation, in the first 3 games of the tournament, the black pawn of b6, it just didn't move. But this is the first game where Gukesh made a move with that particular pawn. And these are small little things, but this is what makes the game interesting, is how do you sort of leverage your past history, your past experience, not just necessarily with the way you play, but with moves made by other players. In Gukesh's case, there's been a lot of comparison with the legendary Bobby Fischer, just the way Bobby Fischer used to play in the early 70s. And Gukesh is obviously very, very thrilled that he's been compared to Bobby Fischer. And someone actually asked him about this at the press conference, that is he superstitious? Because remember, he's 18-year-old, and if he wins this, he'll win the 18th. He'll be the 18th champion. And Gukesh again referred to Bobby and said, "Look, I believe in Bobby's words that what I genuinely want to do and believe in is play good moves, and I don't want to be bothered with superstition." So, Game 4, 2 points each. It's hanging in the middle, pretty much a stalemate. Game 5 will be on the weekend, on Saturday in a few hours time, where Gukesh will start with white. Hope everything else goes well. We'll watch and see if there's going to be any interesting first move. This is Prantik from Revsportz. Keep watching, the tournament's heating up.